Special welcome to the graduates. And I stand here feeling very, very proud. I want to also welcome you on behalf of the board in this graduation ceremony of what we refer to as the Micro-Entrepreneurship program. This graduation, in fact, is a first for Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, as we refer to it as YBTT, in our 13th year. It's something that we have always been, accustomed to and sort of sharing the successes and the graduation of entrepreneurs. But this one today is a special one because it was one that we worked with the government of Trinidad and Tobago, with the ministry, to push. I come here today because I wanted the opportunity to do a little bit of a commercial and just tell you a little bit about what YBTT is all about. It's something that we started in 2000. It was really when Prince Charles, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, came to Trinidad and Tobago, and it was something that he had started when he graduated when he left the Navy. He took his gratuity and he created a fund that basically lent to challenge young people to start their own business. But over and above that, the formula was to provide a mentor. And that is something that we started when he came in 2000. And in 2001, we were able to get what we call a tax-exempt status. So it kind of legitimized it, and of course we prepare audited accounts, etc., etc. I mean, the Prince of Wales, as he's also referred to, has gone on to do a tremendous number of charities. His more recent focus has been on environment, and he has a massive empire now called the Prince's Trust. And one of the components of the Prince's Trust is something called Youth Business International, for which we are affiliated with 39 other countries. So it's something, if you want to call it, is like a kind of a franchise. We don't pay any royalty fees, but it's a model that we use, and we felt it was an ideal model to work with the CSP. So that is what it's all about. Since in our 13 years, we've graduated about 200 entrepreneurs. So that's something, funding is always a challenge, but it's something that we've been very, very proud of. So what I want to share with you also today is some statistics, some trends, and it focuses really on what we now refer to as global youth unemployment. And there is really, quite honestly, I don't like to sound negative, but a very dismal picture. And it's something that YBTT intends to take up at a much more national and perhaps regional level as we go forward. But the ILO, which is part of the UN, the International Labour Office, in May this year prepared a report, and the report is called the Global Employment Trends for Youth 2013, A Generation at Risk. And it had several findings, but I wanted to share some of them with you. They define the global youth as people between the ages of 15 to 24. And they are saying that unemployment has really been increasing steadily year after year up to 2011. And in 2013, it's about unemployment of 12.6% amongst the youth in that category. So this is really what they consider crisis level. And there are over 75 million young people all over the world that are unemployed in 2013, 75 million. The good news, though, is that in LATAM, as referred to, Latin America and the Caribbean, is one of the regions where we saw a slight decline in youth unemployment between 2011 and 2012. So that's really good news. Young people also continue to be almost 3 times more likely to be adults as unemployed, and the upward trend continues to show that this is going to continue. So the youths graduate as adults and they remain unemployed. There's an acronym called NEET, which stands for Not in Education, Employment and Training. And that rate, again, amongst young people is very high, particularly, again, in developing regions. For example, in Latin America and the Caribbean, that is estimated at 19.8% in 2008. So that's about 20%. And of course, with the global economy not doing too well, that again doesn't help. And that has obviously further aggravated the crisis. And of course, the queues for jobs become longer and longer, with some unfortunate people not really making it. So it really is a challenge. There's also an increasing number of young people who are turning towards available part-time jobs and finding themselves in temporary employment. But of course, we know that having to secure a job is much more critical. And then, of course, from a country's point of view, the economic and the social cost of unemployment, long-term unemployment, the discouragement and the widespread low-quality jobs for young people continue to rise, and of course undermines an economy growth potential. And I was listening on the radio just now, and there was a young lady talking about, Minister Hawaii saying that a lot of the youth are unemployable or so. I wouldn't debate that, but I want to tell you that youth unemployment is really, really a serious matter. And the truth is, if you look at it from a business perspective, and you really wanted to get the world out of its morass, and of course I'm very selfish, I only think about Trinidad and Tobago. And we really believe that if we could tackle young unemployment, youth unemployment, that is really the way. And you do this by entrepreneurship, which is what we're talking about. Again, as I said, even in delivering the budget, Minister Hawaii talked about 49.8, 50% of unemployed young people between ages of 15 and 29. So that is really, really scary. So with all those statistics, to me, there is, as I said, an urgent need for us to alleviate youth unemployment and to find some creative and innovative ways of encouraging young people to embrace entrepreneurship and take the risk of starting their own business. In this regard, the ILO report again they zeroed in on 5 strategies, and the 5 strategies, so to speak, is really talking about promoting entrepreneurship and self-employment to assist young people. And it is for that reason why we felt that YBTT, in supporting youth entrepreneurship, is very, very relevant to our national priorities. And that's why we were so excited when the ministry released this proposal, this request on the CSP. So as we continue to do our work, we are very mindful that a lot of the young people feel that there is no hope because some businesses fail. But the truth is, failure is not necessarily a bad thing because you learn from it. And we've always said that even if a young person start their own business and they don't succeed, I think they become better for the experience. And in fact, they probably will make a better employee if they do end up getting a job because they understand the challenges. And to me, that's a plus. I mean, we have lots of worldwide success stories. Michael Dell with the Dell computer. They say that he was a dishwasher in a Chinese restaurant. I don't think it's this one. The fellow who formed Walmart, Sam Walton, again, he kind of put his family together, at a young age in terms of he was bottling milk and selling it to customers. Jay-Z, who some of you may be more, better known. I mean, he grew up in one of the worst areas in Brooklyn. He never graduated from high school. And in fact, as we say, even sold some crack. Oprah Winfrey, for example, she herself had a tough life, and she's overcome many of those challenges. And of course, we all know about Steve Jobs, who never graduated, and we could see Apple now slipping because he's no longer around. Don't quote me on that. So, I think the important thing is that for young people, or for anybody really, if you have a dream and a vision, to me, that is the answer. In whatever you do, and with focus and determination, you will really ultimately turn your dream into reality. So the graduates today, they have gone through the program with us, and they've submitted business plans, which in our mind is their dream. And what we would like to really do is to help them achieve their dream through their business plan. And that is why we really believe that this entrepreneurship program is something that really would work well. So just to share with you again, last month, earlier this month, some of us were in London. We attended the global sort of, what they call the Global Summit of Youth Business International. And we talked a lot about it. And you know what is interesting? Every 3 years they have it, and they were finalists. There was a winner called the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year. She came from India. And what she made was decorative paper lamps from waste material. And then there was a Startup Entrepreneur of the Year, another young woman from Sri Lanka, and she made sort of chips from coconut husk for use in industry. And then there was the Environmental Entrepreneur of the Year. These are all young people. This was a guy who came from Bhutan. And again, what he did basically was collect, separate, and then do the disposal properly of waste material. And of course, in Bhutan, they all kind of wear skirts, so I was teasing him whether there was anything underneath the skirt. But he had on tall socks. And then at the end of the day, it was the entrepreneur year, and there were 4 finalists. One of the finalists was a young man from India who fundamentally leased equipment, engineering equipment. Then there was another one, a Chinaman from China. He started an educational training facility using some technology to train people. And then another Sri Lankan who fundamentally had a brass foundry. And they were just taking waste material and casting stuff and, with brass. And then there was another young man from Hong Kong who was, again, another innovative software person, fundamentally automating and using software to do business processes. So, there is a lot of hope. And when you saw these 4 people being profiled, it really gave you a sense that in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a lot of potential. I mean, I wear some other hats, working with something called the CCI, the Council of Competitive and Competition and Innovation, and I sit on the Economic Development Board. I think that if you could really get entrepreneurship going in the country as part of our DNA, it really would help. And the young people here today who are graduating, I think that we must make sure that their businesses succeed. So I want to close by congratulating the graduates and really wishing them all the best. I think that, as I said earlier, you may not hit it the first time, but you must persevere. To me, that is what life is all about. Nothing comes easy. You really got to keep at it, focus, determination, and really work towards it. So let me congratulate you, and I hope that Gloria have me in the program to hand a few certificates out. And I have to say, it is the first time I've spoken to an audience that have some very young people and babies. I hope they understood everything I said. Thank you very much.